Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I showed you how I completely tore up our whole backyard and built this massive fire pit area. It is gorgeous, we love it, but now we need to build a smokeless fire pit to make it a little bit more enjoyable. And I was able to find some Adirondack chairs on Facebook Marketplace for super cheap. So in this video, I'm going to try to build a smokeless fire pit, paint some Adirondack chairs and put them together because they came in a million pieces. But anyway, let's get this space put together. Okay, so the first step to building this smokeless fire pit is to get a fire ring, and I had been looking on Facebook Marketplace for quite a while and just could not find anything that would work. So we ended up just going to Menards and buying one. It wasn't that expensive, but I just really like to find things on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm usually pretty lucky at finding good deals. And wouldn't you know it, like the very next day I found one for like super cheap, and I'm like, well, I already bought this one at Menards, and Keith went ahead and started to drill all the holes in the fire pit that on the metal ring to make it smokeless. Okay, my last video of part one of the fire pit, we got all of these blocks for free on Facebook Marketplace, and I would love to use the rest of these blocks for the actual fire pit, but I quickly found out that they are not going to work unless I start making a ton of cuts. Now I have several blocks that haven't been cut yet, and I have several that already have been cut. I filtered through every single one, and I was able to get like the first layer around the base of the fire pit to work okay. But then like the second and third layer, it was just not a circle. It was just not working. And I knew that I was gonna have to cut every single block, and I did not want to do that. So we ended up going to Lowe's and getting the blocks that we needed to build this fire pit. Okay, so we went ahead and placed all of these blocks 3 high. This first layer, we have the opening for the air, the oxygen to get in to feed the fire. And then behind the ring, there's a little bit of a gap that the air can come through, and then through the holes, obviously. So hopefully this will make it smokeless. But we also bought these caps for the top to give it that nice finished look. And Keith has been working really hard at cutting all the angles to make it a perfect circle. And we just have a couple more that we need to cut. But anyway, I feel like this is just a little bit too tall, especially once we get our Adirondack chairs around the fire. I think you won't be able to see the fire, and you won't be able to really feel the heat. So I want to remove maybe like one layer and see if that will help. But the only problem is now we're going to have to bury this metal insert, this ring, because it'll be too tall once we get our caps on. So that's what we're going to start with, and then we will test if this is truly going to be smokeless or not. Okay, so now that we have our fire pit built, we're gonna test it out. It's about 7 o'clock at night, beautiful evening. It's like, I don't know, maybe 70 degrees. Perfect evening for some s'mores. I don't have my chairs quite painted or done, but we're gonna go ahead and get started on this fire pit, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll finish painting my chairs and we will have this completely done. Okay, so there is definitely some smoke. I don't know that our little contraption is working at all. We were just talking like what could have made it better, and we're wondering if we would have left it higher, if that would have helped. I really don't know what we did wrong. We have all our holes for air and everything. We left air gaps around the perimeter, so I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll see as time goes on if we can tweak it at all. But if you have any ideas, comment below.
I can't do this game.
So now that the chairs are all put together, I am ready to paint, and the paint that I'm using is the Valspar Defense in the color Tiki Hut. I think it'll look really nice in our space, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. I went ahead and filled all of the holes where all the screws were with wood filler, and then I sanded it all down. And then after I wiped it down, I'm ready to paint. Okay, so this is the situation. Last night we were able to have a campfire just fine. It just wasn't smokeless. It was actually very smoky. So anyway, we made some tweaks to our fire pit, and Keith was able to drill a few holes in the ring towards the bottom to hopefully create a little bit more airflow and less smoke, hopefully. So we're gonna give this another try. Okay, so we have a fire going, but we are using like the old roots and leaves and old twigs from our yard. So it's not really ideal wood to use, but we're still gonna give it a try and see if it reduces the smoke at all with the holes that Keith drilled at the bottom of the fire pit. Hopefully this is better. Okay, so sorry if you can't hear me because those cicadas are really, really loud, but we don't have a completely smokeless fire pit, but I would say that the smoke is definitely less than it was last night. So I think this has worked out for now. We might tweak it in the future, but thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you decide to subscribe and hit the like button. And in my next video, I think I'm gonna build like a swing or something, like one of those daybed swings for under our trellis. I think it'll kind of tie the space together. Thanks for watching. Okay, so everybody else went inside, and I'm just burning what little bit of wood we have left. And I would say the smaller the fire, the better. There's definitely very little smoke. It's actually very pleasant. I would say we definitely should have not burned any leaves. That was definitely causing some smoke and some ash naturally. But as soon as that just burned away and there were just twigs and like, I don't know, a log or two, it's actually very pleasant.